today we're going to be talking about some bigger animals of the Long Island Sound. So again, the Long Island Sound is an estuary. Who out there remembers what an estuary is? And for those of you that are new, the comments do come in slow, so just answer at home with your friends or family, and I will give you the answer after about 5 seconds. So again, what is an estuary? What is the Long Island Sound? So it's a body of water, and I get a lot of people that come in here and ask me why we're talking about the lake. It's not a lake. It is salt and fresh water. Yes, Diana. So an estuary is salt and fresh water mixed together. It's a very important ecosystem. There's a lot of different animals that come into the Long Island Sound to breed or just come to feed because there's a lot of different fish. So two of the animals that we're talking about today are bigger mammals, and they come into the Long Island Sound mostly to feed, and you don't get to see them very often, and a lot of people don't realize that they actually do come into the Long Island Sound. Does everybody out there know what a mammal is? Let's see if we know what a mammal is. I'll let you answer at home, and then I will say the answer. So a mammal is like us. We are mammals. So mammals have, among other things, we have hair, right? And we have lungs. That's how we breathe. So the two animals that we are talking about today are marine mammals, which means mammals like us that live in the water. Hi, Henry. So our first today, and it's kind of going to be like our bird one, I'm going to play a sound. And for you guys at home, and yes, Anne, they are warm-blooded. They breathe air, Bruce. Great. We are warm-blooded. Doesn't come from eggs. Yes, very good. I'm liking these answers. So the first, I'm going to turn you guys around. Well, I'm going to play the noise first, and then I want you at home to tell me if you know what our first marine mammal is. All right, so ready? So listen, and then at home, gonna tell me what this animal is. One more time. There we go. We're getting some answers. Keep them coming. Yes. So we're getting a lot of the right answers. That is this animal. So here we go. That is this animal. This is a seal. So seals actually come into the Long Island Sound. There was one here last year. If you go online, you could see a wonderful video right outside the Marine Education Center of this is a harbor seal. The one that we saw out front here was a gray seal. So seals are mammals. They have fur. They also have lungs. And there's also something, they have a really cool, kind of like us, if you look at them. Does anyone know what else they have that keeps them warm besides their hair? We have fat. Not a fun word to say. We have fat. They have something else. What do they have? It's something other than fat, but it's very similar. It's called blubber. Has everybody heard of blubber before? They have blubber. It keeps them warm. So the harbor seals, among other seals that come into the Long Island Sound, they have blubber to keep them warm. So they come in around December, and then they leave about now. They leave at the end of April because they like the cold because they have that blubber that keeps them warm. And they come into the Long Island Sound. You'll see them hanging out. You see him hanging out on ice right now, but if you see them in the Long Island Sound, they're usually hanging out on the rocks or the beaches, and they do something that's called hauling out, which is a cool word, and it's social. It means kind of to socialize, to rest. So they'll haul out on the beaches, kind of like we haul out on beaches. So they rest on beaches. So these animals are very, very important to the Long Island Sound and to all the oceans. They're all around. And they are one of the main predators. What kind of fish do you think they like to eat in the Long Island Sound? Some of the fish that we talked about. So all the animals and plants that we talk about, everything is intertwined. Everything works together, so everything's important to everything, even those tiny little plankton we were talking about. So these fish, hi Jude, these mammals like to eat fish. They'll eat all types of fish. So they dive down. They have lungs just like us. So when you guys go into the water, and this is a fun little fact about these guys. So when you guys go into the water, what do you do when you initially go into the water? When you want to dive down. Everyone at home, when you're about to dive into the water, what do you do? Let's see if my answers come in. What do you do when you dive down into the water? You hold your breath, right? So everyone at home, pretend like you're diving into the water. So a seal is actually pretty different. A seal doesn't hold its breath. A seal actually expels its air before it goes down. Yes, you hold your nose. So seals do the opposite. Seals actually breathe out when they're about to dive down, because they hold the oxygen in parts of their bodies like their muscles. Like we have muscles in our arms, not like the muscles that we got out of the ground a couple weeks ago. These are muscles in their body. They hold that air, that oxygen in those muscles. So they actually breathe out when they're about to dive down. You see these guys. So there's a cool thing when you see them on the ice like this. It's called the banana pose. So you'll see them, that's how they rest when they come back from diving down. And they could dive about, some have been known to dive about 1,500 feet. So there's a lot of very cool animals in the Sound. This is one of them. And I want to point out that as we talked the last couple weeks, as we're going to continue talking in the next couple weeks, the ocean is filled with tons of animals, just like this mammal, this marine mammal. But the ocean's huge. The ocean's about 70% of our Earth, right? Our Earth is mostly water. And we only know about 5% of what goes on in the ocean. So every day we learn something new about the ocean. And that's what makes my job, and possibly when you guys get older, or some of you that are in college that are watching, go on to do in the future, the ocean has tons and tons of new information every day that comes out of it. So a lot of the things that we learn change every day, and we get new animals every day. So the seal, we're still learning a lot about the seal, and we're learning a lot about the other animals that we are talking about throughout the last couple weeks and continue to talk about. So I want to go into this animal, and this is this is the same. It's going to be another seal. So look at this seal. What's different about this seal? I'm gonna go back and forth really quick. So we have this seal and this seal. These are two of the main seals that come into the Long Island Sound. What's different? Let's look at their face. Daniela, maybe 9, but you could start working now on becoming a biologist. Start volunteering for me at 12. And as I bring that up, if you guys want to volunteer for me, this summer might be a little less than previous summers, but you're always welcome to volunteer here at the Marine Education Center. So what's the difference? Who at home can see the difference between the seals? These two main seals that come into the Long Island Sound. So this one kind of has a larger snout, right? And one's smaller, yes, one's smaller and one's much bigger, very good. One's smaller, one's much bigger. So this seal also has little dots, polka dots all over it, kind of, right? Spots. This is our harbor seal. Yes, nose shape. The nose shape. So this one is our gray seal. Our gray seal. And this is one of my favorite seals. And I'm gonna bring us over here really quick because we're gonna do a couple different things today, but I wanna talk about this. So this is our gray seal. So there's a lot of different types of animals, right? So our gray seal is this. Crazy name, right? Can anyone pronounce that at home? Halichoerus grippus. So that is called its scientific name. So every animal, including us, have a scientific name. Why at home does anyone know why we have a scientific name? So as you guys know, through the last couple of weeks, we've talked about a lot of animals, right? And I've gotten a lot of answers. So like, I'm gonna bring up our silversides from seining last week. Silversides, we got a lot of people saying sterling. So everything has a common name and lots of common names because everyone calls something different. So this name, like our gray seal, Halichoerus grippus, this gives you the exact species that we're seeing, the Halichoerus grippus. So this is taxonomy, which we'll get into with our older kids, but it shows you, I'm going to say, it go kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Gets very intense. But we're all in the kingdom Animalia, right? Phylum is our chordata, and that is an easy way if you see cord. If you guys feel the back on your back, you feel your backbone, right? That's what that means. You have a backbone, a chordata. And then our class, our Mammalia, which we talked about, we're all mammals, right? And then our order for the seal. And then it goes family, genus, species. So there's a lot. So this is our gray seal, Halichoerus grippus. And you know what's funny about that? It actually means a sea pig, pretty much. So, why do we have scientific names? Why do you all think we have those big names, Halichoerus grippus, instead of just gray seal? What did I just say? Let's say it at home. Helps us identify the animals more easily, right? If you become a biologist like myself, it helps us understand what animal we're looking at. Our next animal is this animal. And I'm going to play the sound, so you guys at home tell me what you see. And this is our next marine mammal. What do we see here? I'm going to play the sound for you. And no, Daniela, you don't want to eat seals. I want to point out, you don't want to eat seals. They are actually protected by the Marine Mammal Protection Act. It's federally against the law to eat seals. Let's see if we get some answers. What's this? You everybody hear them at home? So this is a whale. Does anyone know what kind of whale this is? Humpback whale. Very good. That is a humpback whale. That's a humpback whale. Yes, Daniela. So just while we're talking, everyone looking at this picture, this is our humpback whale. And Daniela brought up a good point. Seals and a lot of these marine mammals, like our whale here, are protected under the Marine Mammal Protection Act by the federal government. So if you see them hauling out, or, hi Charlotte, if you see them hauling out or doing their banana pose that we were talking about before, you want to leave them alone, and you actually have to stay about 50 feet away from them, even more, because they get very scared easily, and hauling out's very important to them. It helps them rest. And yes, Charlotte and Daniela, they do come to the harbor. Our gray seal was seen here last year. They're becoming more common. More fish are coming into the sound because of cleaner water. So they are coming in more often. So our next animal is our humpback whale, which we talked about. I used to work with these guys. So these are all around. These are all around the world. And these are one of the marine mammals that actually travels the longest distance. They do something called migrations. Does everyone know what a migration is? Does everyone know what migration is? So migration is when an animal goes from place to place. So some marine mammals will go and give birth in warmer water and then move up to colder water. These guys move all around. They're all over the place. And why, and this is a big question, let's see if anyone knows, why are humpback whales called humpback whales? And yes, humpback whales do come into the sound. They've been seen a lot. They love, which we'll talk about a little bit later, they love certain food here, and they have been seen. So they do come into the sound, but we'll start on this question. Why are humpback whales called humpback whales? And yes, Gina, when animals move far distances together, that's migration, yes. So humpback whales are called humpback whales. Let's see if we get one comment. Why are our humpback whales called humpback whales? So, as their name might suggest, they have a hump back, right? But they actually don't necessarily have a hump on their back. They're named because when they dive, and they can dive deep, they, very close, and they look like they have a hump when they're diving down. So when you see them diving, if you've ever seen them in the wild, which hopefully you can someday because they're beautiful, when they dive down, it looks like they have a hump. So they have that small dorsal fin, which is that fin on the top here. And sometimes there's a little hump here, but it's mostly when their whole body goes down, it looks like they have a hump. So that's why they're called humpback whales. So what do we think humpback whales eat when they're diving down? What do we think they eat? Who can tell me what humpback whales like to eat? At home. What are these humpback whales diving for? So if we're guessing, Anne, there we go. We got one of our answers. Krill, Gina, nice. Daniela, yes. Bruce, Emma, Bruce. Great. We're getting all great answers. So those are all right. Plankton, krill, shrimp, zooplankton, yes. So if you look here, these look kind of weird, right? Those don't look like teeth. So this, humpback whales are a type of baleen whale. So these are baleen, big word, baleen plates. So baleen plates act as a filtration system for things like zooplankton. So they look kind of weird, right? So if everyone looks down at their nails, everyone look down at their nails. Feel your nails. Everyone feel your nails. Or your hair. Even your hair. Take a rub through your hair. So their baleen plates are actually made out of that same protein, it's called keratin, as your nails. So if everyone's feeling their nails, everyone feel your nails, that's how their teeth would kind of feel. They're not really, they're plates. So their baleen plates would feel like that. It's kind of funny, right? So there's a lot of different types of baleen whales. Humpback whales are one of them. And there's also toothed whales. Toothed whales. Those are like our teeth. So toothed whales are whales like killer whales. Killer whales have, or orcas, the right word, the right name. Killer whales, or orcas, have teeth. So they eat bigger animals like our seal. Humpback whales eat smaller fish, and they filter it through those baleen plates there. They also do something really cool. Anybody ever seen this before? This is another way they get their food. Looks pretty cool. It looks like a bunch of big bubbles, right? And you see the whale here. This is our humpback whale. And these are all our bubbles. So they do something called bubble netting. So we did seine netting last week. That's with the net. So they use their bubbles to capture fish. And this is something like us learning how to ride a bike. This is learned. This isn't something all of them do. So that brings me into this. What are these at home? This is our whale. What are these? At home, what are those? Let's see if we get some answers. Emma, nice. No, it's not silly. Let's see if we get some answers. We're getting some answers in. What are those holes right there? So, yes, we're getting some answers. So those are its blowholes. It's blowholes. So whales have blowholes. So our humpback whale has two blowholes. Two blowholes. And our toothed whale, like our orca or killer whale, have one blowhole. So our humpback whale has these two blowholes. And let's see at home, and I'm going to wait. So these are barnacles. Yes, Bruce, these are barnacles, but we're looking right here. These are barnacles. We're looking at these two right here, everybody. So these are its blowholes. And let's see if we get some answers. What comes out of a whale's blowhole? These are two blowholes. Yes, humpback whales have two blowholes. And our smaller whales, and mostly all of our toothed whales, like our orca, have one blowhole. So our bigger whales have 2 blowholes, and our smaller whales have 1. So what comes out of our blowholes? Let's see. Okay, we got an answer from Katie here. Let's see if anybody else has an answer. What comes out of our blowholes? We've all seen a whale blow out of its blowhole on TV or in a video. What do you think's coming out of there? I want to see if anybody knows the answer. So, this one's a tricky one. It's actually not water. I know. This is going to blow some people's mind. Bruce is actually the closest here. It's actually not water. So, when a whale uses its blowhole, so its blowholes kind of act like our nose would. It's on the top of its head, but they've slowly evolved up to the top of their head from the bottom. So they're kind of like our nose. So what they're doing is it's expelling air, right? So they close up when they dive down. They close up really tight, so no water gets in. So when they come up for air, they're expelling their air, right, from their lungs. So their lungs are actually really warm, right? So when the air comes out into the colder, the air from their lungs comes out, it actually turns to water vapor, and that's what you're seeing. It's like water vapor. Pretty cool. Sometimes there's water sitting on top there, and that comes out, but it's mostly the warm air turning to cooler air and causes water vapor. Look, we learn something new every day, all ages, right? So this whale has 2 blowholes. Again, not all whales have 2 blowholes. Some whales have 1. Mostly the ones with 1 blowhole are toothed whales. And it's because they are smaller. So smaller whales have 1. That's an easy way to recognize. Smaller whales have 1. Bigger whales have 2. And what's cool about their blowhole, and I used to work with whales, so you see this guy has 2. Some whales have 1. They're positioned differently on the body. So all whales have different, so some whales might have their blowhole here, some whales up here, you see right here. So when you see them in the wild and when they expel that air, you could actually tell what type of whale it is by how it expels its air, which is pretty cool. So that's how a lot of scientists track them. Could see how they blow their air out, and you could tell from a distance what kind of whale it is. Hi Charlotte and Henry. So this is our scientific name, big one again, but its scientific name means big wing of New England, because they are all around here, but they have these big pectoral fins, which are those fins on its side, and I'm going to go back and show you. You see these guys here? So that is why they're called big wings. So these are its pectoral fins. Like all fish have pectoral fins. This is not a fish, it's a mammal. But they have these big pectoral fins, and that's what gives it its scientific name, its cool name. And another cool thing before we go, you see its bottom here. Its bottom is lighter, and if you guys do the craft that I put on, yesterday, if you make your whale, you're going to see the humpback whale is lighter on the bottom. See our fingerprint, right? So everybody has a different fingerprint, and the humpback whale's bottom is actually like a fingerprint. Every humpback whale has a different bottom.